Hello and welcome to the dispatch that commemorates the 10th anniversary of Watch Out for Fireballs. Thank you all very much for supporting us and for being with us for any amount of time that you have been with us. We love you and appreciate you. I also want to throw in a quick plug. I don't talk about it that often, but I am in a rock and roll band named Modridge, and we just put out our second EP. So if you go to modridge.bandcamp.com, that's modridge.bandcamp.com, you can check out our new EP Euro stuff. And if you really like it, you can get a cassette tape of it. Thanks. My name is Gary Butterfield.
My name is Cole Ross.
And you're listening to Watch Out for Fireballs Dispatch, our monthly Q&A, topics, and listener response and game announcement podcast.
Yeah, where this month we're going to be answering your questions. We have a topic, and we've already announced what it's going to be. We're going to be talking about the 10th anniversary of the show.
Mm-hmm. And 10th anniversary of Bloodborne, or Dark Souls.
Oh, yeah, true.
Yeah. Happens to be today. Do you remember the 21st of September when Dark Souls came out?
I do. Yeah. And then reading your responses to September's games, Katana Zero, Sonic 2, and Singularity, and Darkest Dungeon. There we go. Yes. Yeah. We got the most for that one.
Yeah. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Let's get into it. I want to get a lot of Q's and A's in our 10th anniversary special.
Yeah.
Fuck around. They're the usual kind of garbage we do. 2 pieces of shit. Brian Wade says, just want to say congratulations and thanks on 10 years of the network and WAF. Can't believe you all have been in my ears for a full decade. I made lifelong friends through the network, and I will cherish the coal trick for all of my days. Here's to 10 more. Love you guys.
Thank you very much, Brian. Hey, Gary, can you come over here for a second?
Sure.
Yeah. What's the coal trick?
I think that is when he tricked you into saying Star Wars garbage.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
Duckfest 2016 when we broke $10,000, and he sent me.
Continued to make you tear up over Star Wars novelization prose.
He didn't make
because you're a tiny joke of a man.
You say I'm a tiny joke of a man?
Yeah, this is the meanest thing I could think of for somebody crying at a Star Wars novel. The way the midichlorians infested the harvester.
I did go on Brian's show about the extended universe stuff to cover the novelization of that movie because
did you read that?
Listen to the audiobook. Yeah.
Wow,
that's fine.
Wow, was it fine?
Yeah, genre fiction, whatever.
Kind of, yeah. I was on that show too to talk about the Christmas special.
Oh yeah.
Which is great, which has Chewbacca's grandpa in his living room masturbation pod. I'm not joking. And it's one of the funniest things that's ever been because George Lucas, the colossal idiot that he is, decided to not translate the monsters yelling.
Okay.
There's no subtitles or anything. So most of the special is just like monsters running around a suburban house yelling at each other. It's very funny.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to Extended Universe.
Yeah. Yes, I forgot what the coal trick referred to, but that was a fun moment. Oh man, let's get into some game questions here. Moonborn asks, are there any especially niche or weird video game sound effects that have remained stuck in your head for years and years? To this day, I still think about the sound of grinding and sparking metal that occurs when you shoot armored body parts and Einhander for the PS1, despite the fact that I've not seriously played that game in about 2 decades.
For me, nothing that's unusual. Like there are sound effects that stand out because they're great.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like the Doom 2 Super Shotgun
Yeah.
sound, things like that, but nothing that's like unusual for me.
Nice on.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I know the nice on. I
Yeah,
do think about nice on a lot.
I do. I do think about nice on. Yeah.
Nice birdie. Eagle putt.
Strike. Yeah, the Wii Sports voice voice cues, voice sparks get stuck in my head. I occasionally like when I start driving, especially if I haven't turned on my stereo yet. This is less of a soundtrack thing, but it is always associated with the beginning of a race in Daytona, USA. The rolling start.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I was thinking you would do like a yeah
no,
each
no.
time. You know, also very good.
Yeah. It just yeah, yeah, just gotta get that just be like that is less music to me, and that is more just the sound effect for beginning a race in that kind of mediocre racing game.
Yeah, we gotta get another racing game onto the show.
Yeah, we do.
Sleepy Smiles asks, hey guys, happy 10th anniversary. I Googled Dark Souls level design analysis way back in 2014 and found Bonfireside Chat. I have not been disappointed since. You're good critics and solid bros. Thank you, Sleepy Smiles. We're reading congratulations because it's our 10-year anniversary episode.
Yeah, we've earned a treat.
No, they continue. I vibed with Gary nodding silently at characters in FPS games during the Singularity episode and inspired this video game question. What silly expressive shit do you guys like doing when you have limited control of your character responses and no one is watching to react to it? I doing gestures at bosses and NPCs in the Souls games and ducking looking up at appropriate times in Super Mario World or Sonic. Mario looks down at the Crusher in Iggy Koopa's castle before squishing down onto his hat when it comes to get him. Tails ducks under the animals rushing out of Robotnik's vat chock full of birds and squirrels, then stares up at the end of the level screen, level stats in blank confusion. And for me, Gordon Freeman always wrecks Kleiner's teleport experiment by stuffing random crap into it. What kind of harmless play acting do you guys enjoy doing when games allow it? Thanks again and be well.
Yeah.
This is referring to me nodding along with my silent protagonist when somebody asks the Singularity dude a question. I will nod or shake my head with the mouse.
Yeah. I'll occasionally do a just say out loud to Mr. Burns, yes.
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 I will. Yeah.
Yeah. This is less like in game, but I will actually just like use, if it's a first person game, try to use the camera to compose a good shot for what's happening, you know? I'm just going to like, I'm the cameraman. I'm not a character. I am a viewer first and foremost. So I'm going to use this as expression. Yeah.
Nice. I like to jump on counters and bars and stuff and crouch walk like Pee Wee Herman to the tequila song. Like I did that a lot in the Dishonored bar, like while they're describing to me, you know, things about the regent and stuff, and just little Corvo going da 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 da. You know?
Just pointing at your crotch, pointing at your ass, pointing at your crotch, pointing at your ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, that was a revelation as a kid.
Oh my God.
Pointing at his dick. It's just, good God, what's Pee Wee doing?
I need to put on a milestone. Just like when we hit a certain number, we cover Pee Wee's Big Adventure.
We got to get to a certain number where we just do movies.
Yeah.
But we have to have a show.
Yeah.
Like we have to have a slot because I'm full up.
Yep.
But if we get to that point, because there's a couple of movies that we wanted to throw in there that are not quite horror movies.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the primary one for me is composing shots, and then obviously trying to get as high in a room or as low in a room as I can.
Yeah, getting high up is fun. Like being up on top of the bookshelf while like a character explains to you the end of the world. Like, no,
all that
you come up here.
I'm the king of this room.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's like
man.
a cat. Cat moves.
Yep. James writes, what's your experience with arcade rhythm games? Any favorites or ones that you wish you got to experience more?
I like Dance Dance Revolution. I think those are fun. I played that in the arcade, and then me and my ex-wife got a home pad and did that a lot. To my mind, that is out of the ones I've played in an arcade, the one that has worked the best.
Yeah.
Just because it's pretty intuitive and it's popular, so they take care of it and everything. Always very disappointing, like Guitar Hero or
Oh,
like Be Manny kind of things where you can't hear the music,
yeah.
well enough. And then I played a drum one. It wasn't Taiko, but it was another drum one, and it was pretty substandard.
Mm.
So the classic is the one that has worked for best for me, even though I would like to play good versions of other ones, I think.
Yeah. Taiko Drum Master is probably the one that I enjoy the most. Never quite got my head around Dance Dance Revolution. Yeah, I mostly started enjoying rhythm games when they came home. Yeah.
Yeah. Same thing for me. Like I played them way more at home,
Yes.
the arcade ports. But
Yeah.
the iOS Taiko is not very good.
No, I was really disappointed in that, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. I was like,
Yeah.
that sucks.
You just
Because I had such great memories of that.
it turns out tapping doesn't do it. Like you kind of need the physicality. You need the bounce back of the drum. Yeah.
Those big, ridiculous drumsticks.
I love them. Oh man.
Yeah, they're so cheap feeling. Like a very beautiful way.
Yeah.
Andrew asks, certain movies lend themselves incredibly well to a rewatch. Hot Fuzz, for example, is a joy to return to catch the references and setups that weren't obvious the first time around. Which games are the most interesting to replay?
I mean, obvious one, any game that allows multiple different builds, multiple different paths through it,
Yeah. I tend to do a mechanical thing, like knowing the twist. Like there is a comorbidity for me in games with a big twist, generally with games that I don't want to replay that much.
Yeah.
Like there's foreshadowing in BioShock. Like that's an exception. I replayed that. Prey was fun to replay and see all of the foreshadowing for it. But I tend to focus on mechanical replay things.
Yeah. And even then, I'm not like an immediate go back and replay it kind of guy, No. There are lots of games that I like. I feel you can just it's kind of like, is it getting ready to bloom? You can just feel a replay coming through. Like I've been sitting on a Morrowind replay for a while now.
Ooh.
Yeah, that doesn't sound that sounds good, doesn't it?
Oh baby,
Oh, baby.
oh, that's what I like.
Yeah.
I get that feeling as well, but I don't know what it would be. I don't necessarily know that it will be the kind of revelatory experience. Replaying Morrowind, I would like to, but maybe it would, maybe it wouldn't be. But I just kind of want to hang out in that world again. It's the reason why I'm so aware of never being able to, see all the content in the world, is because I also like revisiting shit.
Yeah.
So if I were to replay Morrowind, that's like 40 hours. That's like 3 other games.
Yeah.
That I'm just not going to get a chance to play. Yeah. Sad.
Yeah. Let's see. Popo Shosho says, now that you've completed the big 4 SNES JRPGs for the show, Final Fantasy 2 and 3 / 4 and 6, Super Mario RPG, and Chrono Trigger, would you say these are worth playing if you have never played them before?
I don't. So personally, for me, I don't think Super Mario RPG holds up. But that's out of these. I think the rest of them, if you like the genre, the rest of them are all good games. Like there's a ranking definitely in my head of ones I think held up better than others, but the only one I think straight up doesn't hold up is Super Mario RPG. Like it's got a fun battle system, but the story is very slight, and I think it's ugly. But everything else I think is probably worth checking out. And if you like how Super Mario RPG looks, go nuts. Like part of it for me is just the fact that it's hard to look at.
Yeah. Go nuts. Music's great. Yeah. But yeah, I think that like if I was saying like, all right, if you came of age, during the PlayStation era and Final Fantasy 7 or 8, like any of those, like say you are not averse to talkie games with random encounters, then I would say like Final Fantasy 6 would probably be the one I would prioritize, with Chrono Trigger kind of coming up in kind of a moderate second place.
Yeah. I think that if you grew up in that era and you like love Final Fantasy 7, you'd find a lot to like about Final Fantasy 6.
Yes.
Quite a bit. But yeah, none of them are like, I don't think Super Mario RPG is a horrible game. I don't think any of them are horrible games.
Yeah.
And for me, and this is a personal Gary caveat, not speaking for the show or anyone else. It's if you're just like, you like video games in general, like let's say you grew up in the PlayStation 2 era and you're not really accustomed to the genre, I think it would be hard to go back to like random encounters.
Yeah.
Or experience them for the first time, basically.
Yeah.
in 2021. So this is for me that recommendation comes with being okay with the signifiers of the genre.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you weren't okay with those, then Chrono Trigger would kind of edge up to the front. I think Chrono Trigger is an amazing first RPG.
Yeah, it does a better job with that incredibly flawed idea than the other games do.
Yeah.
Popo Foshosho also asks, do you guys have games you'd recommend to your friends as genre entry points? I enjoy playing genres in a sort of release order, but I don't think I'd recommend Ultima Underworld as somebody's first immersive sim. Agreed.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
No. Maybe Human Revolution as first immersive sim nowadays. If somebody was getting started with it.
That or Dishonored.
Yeah. I would need if I had an example genre, I could probably say. So like
we'll get people into survival horror.
What would get people into
Ballywick?
Yeah. Resident Evil 2 remake.
Yeah. It's a good answer. I would say that or 7.
Yeah.
Like both would be really good entries.
Yeah.
The 8 I think is actually plays a little bit more friendly than 7 in a lot of ways, but it requires so much like franchise affection to get everything out of it, I think.
Yeah. So 7 works as a reboot, even though it is kind of a stealth continuity kind of thing.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely depends on the genre. I think if I were trying to get somebody into retro shooters, I think Dusk is a better place to start than like Doom 2.
Yeah.
And moving backwards. Like I don't necessarily think it's a better game, but I think it is a better place to start.
What about CRPGs?
That's a tough one. Because it depends on what you're going for. If somebody is into tactics games, then I think that DOS 2 is a good slide.
Yeah.
And you're starting at a high point, but it plays not that dissimilar from a tactics game. And then if somebody is coming from a narrative focus game, I'd probably say Disco Elysium.
Yeah.
Easier to play than Torment. I don't necessarily like it better, but it's easier to play than Torment. And
it gets you a very intuitive way to handle stats as well, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
also it lays out the dice rolls in a way that makes it like that it's part of the experience of playing it, as opposed to something that is kind of hidden in a big text scroll, like a console readout kind of thing. Yeah.
And it's one of the best games of all time.
Of course.
So once you get through it, you've played one of the best games of all time.
Yeah.
God,
that's so good.
Yeah, it's super good. I've got a replay of that in me as well.
Well, because of the extra content, because of the director's cut stuff. Yeah. Kevin writes, lengthy one and maybe better suited to bonfireside chat, but here it goes. I've heard people getting upset at the term Souls-likes, and make the comparison to Doom clones as a similarly outdated term. If bonfireside chat had started in 1994 and had been about Doom instead of Dark Souls, then 8 years into the show's run, you'd be covering games like Duke 3D, Half-Life, and Halo. All games by different developers, which evolved the genre forward, and which were at the time more popular than Doom was. Instead, 8 years later, the best games covered on Bonfireside Chat have been From games, either made before Dark Souls or as sequels to it, and they have been 2D games with very different gameplay and similar themes like Hollow Knight. Everything else has been kind of crap. I think that's why the term Souls-likes persists. So 8 years later, how do you guys feel about the term Souls-like? And what would you name your podcast about Doom and Doom clones?
Like Rip and Tear or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't get mad at the term. I think it's silly.
To
get mad at it because everybody knows what you mean when you say it. So I don't like it. Language prescriptivism. At all. And it is true that like Doom birthed, like Wolfenstein 3D, like birthed a genre that actually went in a bunch of different creative directions, because a first person game is a wider possibility space than like a Dark Souls like. Dark Souls likes do tend to either like hew too close or barely fit. So I know I started this, but I think it's a useful term. In some ways, it's not a useful term. It's hard for me to care that much. I know that's not a satisfying answer.
Mhm.
I just don't have very strong feelings about it one way or another. I guess it's mixed. It's a land of contrast.
It's a useful term, and I'll keep using it as long as it's a useful term. I think the only reason we moved away from Doom clones as a description is because Half-Life came out and was such a singular kind of like cultural moment for video games. Like everybody, there was just a broad consensus. Maybe because the environment was less fractured back then, who knows? But like that was the time when I absolutely stopped hearing Doom clone being bandied about. Like not even Quake could break that, and bring it around to first person shooters, because that was Quake, by id, right?
Well, yeah. Quake plays a lot like Doom, and Half-Life doesn't, in a lot of ways. And it was really, the way that people could get upset about it if they got upset about that kind of thing would be that calling them Doom clones, using that up until Half-Life discounted a lot of games that were doing a lot of cool things that different than Doom. Like you end up with things like your like Hexens and Heretics and stuff, which introduce fantasy elements and like an item economy.
Yeah.
To things like that. And then like Duke 3D I think plays very differently than Doom, based on it being real environments and having immersive sim kind of DNA to it. But still just were called Doom likes or Doom clones. I cannot get mad about this because it's 25-year-old video game stuff, but it is they're kind of similar in that way. Like something, so maybe Souls, like something will come along to cement the genre. We just haven't had anything good enough yet.
Yeah. And I think it would be harder. I think it would be harder for something to kind of redefine that, because we don't have the kind of the unity, the unity of press, or kind of the unity of culture that we had back when that change kind of happened. I mean, we've never gotten away from Metroidvania. People call them explore 'em ups, or second person exploration or stuff like that. But like, no, I mean, for a long time after Symphony of the Night, the people who made the best the best versions of those games it was Konami in the Castlevania series, right? And no matter how many wonderful and revelatory Metroidvania style games we get from indie developers, we are nowhere closer to having an agreed upon term. And so I do not have any problem saying Metroidvania, again, because everybody understands it. I don't feel like it hems it in, because you know what modern stuff I'm referring to if I say, hey, this is a new Metroidvania style game.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
This is me or you?
This is
me. Sam Bear, a longtime fan and friend of the show, says, any games that you feel like you tried way too late and couldn't get into because of that? For an example, from my personal experience, despite generally liking Team Ninja, I didn't get around to trying Ninja Gaiden, the Xbox reboot, until the recent HD release, and unfortunately got annoyed with the game by the second level and enough to stop playing it completely.
Yeah, that second level is a real problem. Especially the boss with the nunchucks. Yeah. I think I realized I don't like Team Ninja. I don't want Team Ninja's steez. I don't think they do a good job at what they do. The best Team Ninja game was from making Ninja Blade.
Yeah, I believe it. I should try Ninja Blade, because I didn't really like those Ninja Gaiden games when I tried to get into them, like when they came out. Fucked up Ultimate Alliance. I don't care for Neo. Like, I don't like those dudes' games.
Yeah.
I don't like their approach to character action.
This is actually, my answer for this is going to be similar to the answer to the next one. So I'm just going to read off Maya's question. What are some games you think were far too advanced in scope for ideas at the time that they came out and you would want to see remade with unlimited assets and budget? My answer for both of these is really similar, which is Daggerfall. Came to Daggerfall way too late. The aesthetics and kind of engine, really hard to get over the way that game is presented. And some of like the stilted things that you do. And I think it'd be interesting to see that kind of proc gen handled today. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have a great answer for the first one, but my cop out quick answer to it. I was a little late to the party to Chronicles of Riddick. Like after I came to that because it had the reputation,
Yeah, that's a bad way to come
into that. And there's a little
one.
bit of like, so what? I played it, but I didn't entirely get it.
Eyes glow, so what? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I did not know what was a big deal. And then in terms of things that were super advanced, these are, real road answer kind of things, but like Spore
Mm-hmm.
seemed like it was going to be super cool. And then wasn't,
Yeah.
you know?
Then just famously or infamously, take your pick.
Yeah. That would have been, and like, that's a dream WoF game for me. It's just too hard to get running.
Yeah.
But I would love to talk about that game because it was such a fucking weird cultural,
Mm-hmm.
I bought the collector's edition of it for like $10, 2 months after it came out.
Yeah.
I like that. It's such a flop.
It was like, that was one of the first like videos that I downloaded and just watched over and over again, was like a recording of the GDC talk of Will Wright, like revealing the Spore.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, oh my gosh, going over and over that, just wow, infinite possibilities. And now,
looked incredible.
Whenever somebody promises you infinite possibilities, that is when
they're lying.
They're lying to you.
Yeah, they're lying.
Oh,
Darren says, 2 options, pick one. I'm going to do both because it's the 10th anniversary. If I had a say, what would I like to see as an expansion for Darkest Dungeon, and what are the hopes for the sequel?
Mm-hmm.
Expansion, like I'm always just like, what is the Lovecraftian trope that hasn't been explored?
Mm-hmm.
In a zone, maybe there's like a Martens mansion.
Yeah, I was thinking
Martens. You go crawl on the outskirts or something.
Yeah, for me, it would be Mountains of Madness. An Arctic.
Oh yeah.
Arctic kind of biome, or maybe.
Well, I think that's what's happening in part with the sequel.
Oh, really? Cool.
I think so. I have not, but just in looking at promotional stuff, I've been limiting my intake.
Same. No.
But I think that there is an icy expedition element to it. So that would be the expansion, and then hopes for the sequel. Everything I know about the sequel is that it's going to be like basically an entirely different genre, like a totally different game.
Mm-hmm.
So my hopes are just that it's an equally compelling game, even if it's its own thing. Like the idea of a 5-hour roguelike is really interesting. We don't have a 5-hour run kind of built into the fabric of video games, like campaigns of first-person shooters sometimes, and indie games. But the 5-hour game that is iterative, like it's usually an hour or less, but something I can play over and over, but it maybe takes me 2 sittings to play.
Yeah,
is interesting, and there might be a reason why they don't do that. That might be really unsatisfying, but I'm willing to give it a shot.
Yeah, I am too. My hopes for it are, honestly, kind of high. Coming off of Darkest Dungeon as it is, I'm curious about getting in on the ground floor of this bad boy.
Yeah, I started last night before bed. I started my Stygian run to see if I can do it. It's hard.
I imagine Radiant's hard.
Instantly way harder. So.
Oh, man. Jonathan writes, how does this sound? A city builder game, but it's designed for making fantasy or sci-fi ass cities. I'm talking about fantastical landscapes, like floating islands, or just a cool collective of cyberpunk arcologies. Are there games that you'd like to see that don't break any molds, but just do something existing in a new flavor? I'd be down with arcology designer. That sounds cool to me. And no, the SimCity 2013 expansion wasn't, that didn't do it for me.
Big Sim Tower elements. Yeah. I had hope for that kind of thing. I always thought that, like in my dream world where Shadowrun is as big a franchise as like Star Wars, there's a arcology builder that's specifically Renraku, and you deal with the AI. Thing like that, all the shit that happened to Renraku with the AI, like gaining sentience and creating human machine hybrids and shit while people are alive, like all that dark shit. And like, again, my dream, no one would ever buy it. It's not a sellable game. Would be that it would be a little bit like Glitter Mitten Grove. Like you would play it and it would just seem like an arcology manager, and then the AI working against you would be a slow reveal.
Oh.
That you wouldn't find out until all of a sudden you're doing like, contacting, like crafting missives to the outside world to send Shadowrunners in to fight the AI that controls your arcology and shit.
It's just like real subtle at first, like little commands that you that you enter are undone, or like maybe there's a facility over here being built that you didn't order it to.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you just have to notice it. Like you build 3 facilities and it builds an extra one, things like that.
Just a few more like heavily augmented people, showing up.
Yeah.
Like I don't remember putting that cyberware on that person. They seem to be acting in unison.
Yeah. Yeah. If you are next time you're doing a Shadowrun like sourcebook read, the Renraku Arcology Shutdown thing is great. Like that is a great little piece of horror sci-fi.
Nice.
In game book form.
I just wish our source didn't go away.
I know. I found that if I Google the name of a book plus PDF, I tend to get it.
Yeah, I also get a bunch of shitty ads. So
yeah, that can happen as well. But I've had pretty good luck so far.
Nice.
So maybe one more game and then move on.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Andy says, you have almost certainly talked about this in the past, but what are some of your earliest gaming memories? For whatever it's worth, mine are probably being 4 or 5 years old, circa 1985, and watching my older brother play Empire Strikes Back on Atari 2600 in my parents' bedroom.
Yeah.
Atari in the bedroom. All right. My earliest memories are playing Atari with my family in Aurora, Illinois, playing E.T. and Joust.
Nice.
So, probably also around 1985.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's watching my brother play Super Mario Brothers, Super Basic or whatever. Like my fondest early gaming memory is when my dad got us the Super Nintendo. It was like just like a surprise. We were going over for a weekend. We were going to be staying like with him at my cousin's house, and just like we just rolled by a store and picked up the Super Nintendo and Star Fox, and just remember playing dang old Super Mario World. Very good time.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. So
shall we move on to life?
We shall. Greg says, when I was 14, an aunt who I was close to gave me some advice, which has always stuck with me. Try to make sure you have friends who work in the following 3 fields: law, police, and politics. They will help you so much in life. I have 2 of the 3 covered, still working on that, getting that politician in my back pocket. And she has indeed been correct in that it's been very helpful. Were either of you given advice when you were young that was designed to be life important or life changing? If so, what was it? Did you follow it, and how has it worked out?
Do you have a good answer for this?
I mean, it was like less, an adage that somebody gave me, and more just like generally things that were kind of hammered in, which is like, the times I remember being punished the most were for when I lied as a kid, and that just kind of stuck with me. And then also generally just, there are no shortcuts. There's no way around working hard sometimes. Yeah.
No, I don't think I have one I can think of. I did not get a lot of advice.
Yeah.
As a kid. So it's hard for me to, I'm sure it happened, but it's hard for me to pick up a piece of advice out of my memory.
Yeah.
Nicholas says, how do you guys feel about bringing food onto airplanes? I'm not talking about Pringles. I'm talking Big Macs and Subway sandwiches. Is it rude to force everyone around you to smell what you're bringing in? Yes.
Yeah.
I think so. Do not bring a scented food.
Do not bring a scented food. Connections are short. There's nothing you can do about that. I don't really think that there's an excuse to bring a medium pizza onto a plane. There are plenty of options at newsstands: bags of nuts, trail mix, dried fruit, candy bars, anything really.
Hold you over.
Yeah.
In general, like I've had people straight up like bring fast food from non-terminal restaurants, like they crumbled up a bag of Arby's and put it in their bag.
How did you get that through security?
Security doesn't mind an Arby's. You can pack a roast beef, apparently. This detector says you have the meats. Step out of line, sir. But yeah, and it's just like, man, Arby's, like there are things I'm fine smelling if I can just walk by them, but being stuck in a gigantic flying fart tube full of Arby's, like that's no bueno. I just like, leave the Tortugas alone. That is no good. So I think it is rude.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just there's so many other options. I have infinite sympathy for being at the airport sucks, but like I don't know, stinky food takes a while to get. There are lots of options you had.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. James asks, you guys are the proud proprietors of a new bar, the Duck Pond. What drinks would you stock it with? I'm taking this idea from another podcast, but on that, the guests choose 2 drinks on draft, 2 bottles and 2 spirits, and 1 wild card drink. Non-alcoholic drinks are welcome, of course.
That's tricky.
Yeah.
So I would want there to be served coffee, because I like coffee and I like mixing, coffee with a little booze every once in a while, like Spanish coffee. So that might be my wild card drink. Might be that Spanish coffee or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, like I really like a Ghost Owl bourbon.
Okay.
It's like a local place that's very good. There is, and then something like another nice bourbon. If I'm just choosing 2 spirits, like I'm gonna stick with that. And then on draft, like I like to have a nice dunkel, and then probably like a fruity hazy IPA.
Yeah.
And then 2 bottles that cover 2 other bases, like a basic lager kind of thing for people who just want to drink a watery beer to have something to drink, and then like maybe a dark beer, like a Guinness or something.
Yeah. Mine would be pretty similar to yours. Like I could list off a bunch of my favorite drinks, but like I cannot get around to the idea of like, I could put like two Rheingeist, Cincinnati brewery beers on there, but like there's a pretty strong flavor wise. Or do you like a Dogfish Head? And that's not like, do you want to please people? Part of opening a bar is making people happy. Yeah. And also I wouldn't want it to be too expensive. So I don't know. It's tough. Nothing fancy. No airs at my duck pond. Maybe we go up to
we both own the same bar in this.
We do. Yeah.
We are the proprietors of the same bar. So if you don't want airs and I want airs, we're gonna have words. We're gonna throw hands.
I don't think you had any airs, but like
no, I don't want airs either.
you could have I like bourbon, but I would not want to own a bourbon bar. I like scotch or Irish whiskey, but like I'd never really go that much fancier personally than like Tullamore Dew or Bushmills or whatever, So like
it's kind of there's a prickishness to a fancy bourbon bar that either both of us would want to avoid.
Yeah. I just moderately priced duck pond. That's us.
Yeah. Yeah. We want to be closer to the bar that Tim goes to in the Roommates episode of Bedtime Stories. Not the bar that you would run.
Basically, I just want to run just Callahan's, honestly.
Yeah.
And that's
man, that'd be great. You just have beer.
Yeah.
It's not even named.
it's just beer. Beer and whiskey.
It comes out of a tap. Yeah. Like a homey place. Is this me?
I think this is you.
Douglas says, seeing as this is the 10th anniversary episode, I thought some childhood reminiscing might be in order. Do you have any funny stories about when you were a kid that send shivers down your spine today? For example, when I was very young, we went to the Toronto Zoo on a school trip, and I wandered away from the group pretty much as soon as we got there. They didn't find me until hours later. It was getting dark. I have no memory of what I did in that time, though. I'm sure it was awesome. But when I think of what could have happened, the color drains from my face and adrenaline surges. The teacher was crying when she found me and hugged me rather tightly. I still remember the pained relief on her scrunched up face, though I forget her name. It was very tragic.
Details.
Yeah. Yeah, again, like nothing, not trying to think of anything too traumatic.
Yeah.
For this. Childhood memories that are funny now and were not funny then, or were funny then and not funny now. I don't know.
I mean, maybe I think either of them. There was the time we went to, was it Epcot or was it MGM? It was something. I think I was like it was between first and second grade. and I got separated from my family as a show was letting out. I think it was like an Aladdin stage show or something, and I got trampled by a bunch of people.
Oh.
Yeah, just like run down. I got lost in the crowd and fell over, and yeah, and
I think you told me that before. I just forgot about your trampling.
yeah, it's funny because like my family found me, and the Disney or MGM whoever ran it, they're like, oh my gosh, this isn't acceptable. Our crowd control should have been better, etc. Why don't we give you some passes, free passes for a day or so? And my stepdad sold those passes and bought a Planet Hollywood jacket, but it was leather. So
yay.
Yep.
Yeah, that's great.
Had leather sleeves, Gary, so it's good. It's fine.
That's extremely good. I think you have the rights to that Planet Hollywood jacket.
I do.
Yeah, I think you should make a claim. You're your rightful heir.
It was my trauma.
Yeah. Dudes rock.
Dudes rock.
Dudes rock. My little kid memories around that time are all a haze. Mm-hmm. One time when I was an early teen, my aunt and uncle took me and my cousin and my cousin's friend to a Star Trek convention.
Okay.
And on the way there, we were three in the back seat. And because I was an early teen, I was so terrified that my knee would touch my cousin's friend's knee. That I, for the entire several hour car ride, held my knee away from his. And then had like horrible leg cramps for the whole day because I was so scared that if our knees touched, he would like think I was gay or beat me up or some shit.
Yeah.
So all they're not funny to me or anything. They're just me being stupid.
Yeah. Yeah.
Being incredibly dumb.
Oh man.
Yeah. Joseph says, I recently watched the first season of Invincible this is media questions, of Invincible on Amazon Prime. Have either of you guys seen the show or read the comic series? I read the first few trades of the comic, and it's kind of when I started realizing I don't really like Robert Kirkman. I just liked The Walking Dead for the beginning of it. Everything I've read that he's done since then, I've not liked very much. So it did not really grab me. I've only read the first few. Even I read up to the twist, and then not past that.
Yeah. I've consumed neither.
No.
Let's see. Sorry, I just did not to no sell it. John asks, I just finished James Wan's Malignant. I was expecting a typical Conjuring movie, but halfway through the movie, it has a twist that takes it in a completely different and ridiculous direction. Without giving out any spoilers, I really enjoyed it. My question for you guys, what is your favorite movie with a twist at the end?
Before we say that, so I've never watched a Conjuring movie. And I heard they were good. I don't think I realized that they were the birthplace of the evil doll everyone is crazy about, who's not the boy.
Annabelle.
Annabelle.
You only observe one evil doll.
Yeah. I'm a strict mono-dollist. So me and my girlfriend are hanging out and we wanted to watch something spooky. So we're like, I've heard good things about The Conjuring. Let's watch The Conjuring. We could not stop laughing at the opening of that movie enough to take it seriously at all and had to tap out. I cannot believe that movie is the one that everyone is saying is incredibly good. Have you seen The Conjuring, Cole?
No.
At the beginning of it, there's like three roommates who are sitting there. They're talking to two like demon hunters. And the roommate said, they're just like, we believe in spirits and everything. We met this ghost and, we're nurses and we want everyone to have a good life. So we invited this ghost to live in the doll.
Oh my God.
Say it like it's nothing. And then the two guys are like,
there's your problem.
Explain how this, it's very well, there's your problem. But you think that's going to be the problem. And they explain how the doll turned evil and stuff. And the demon hunters are like, first of all, there's no such thing as Annabelle. It wasn't a ghost. It was a demon that tricked you into thinking it was a ghost. And everyone is just saying this shit declaratively with no credulence whatsoever. And I was losing my mind. Like the opening line is like, we invited the ghost to live in the doll or something like that.
That
It
feels
is so dumb.
It feels weirdly like like they're writing the horror movie version of a contract. It is so declared that the parties heretofore referred as the nurses, party A, just kind of like just making it absolutely clear. These are these are the pieces. These are the players. This is the move that
This
they
is what's
made.
happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're nurses, so we want good things for everyone. You understand?
I'm X, so I have motivation Y, and therefore Z happens.
Therefore, I did Z. Oh, it's not Z. It's actually, Omega, the evil demon. We ended up watching like presumably a way worse movie instead. But anyway, I have not watched Malignant. I heard that it's awesome.
Yeah, I've heard good things.
I really want to watch Malignant. So
yeah. That's on HBO, right? That's just on my machine. So. Yeah.
And then favorite twist at the end of the movie is probably for me The Prestige. I love that movie and I love that twist.
Yeah. I like the way things.
Mist.
The Mist is a huge one. That's really big.
I was just trying to predict what you were going to say.
No. Resolution.
Oh yeah, that's a great twist.
Yep. Let's do some show questions. Appropriate for the 10th anniversary. Nick asks, I'm a teacher and I am kicking off the school year with a podcast centric English unit. I'm obviously a fan of the medium, but my students and I would love some advice or words of wisdom from some veterans of the medium. Also, I miss hearing your cats in the background. Any chance we'll hear from them again, or have they been banished by the superior audio tech?
I'm surprised you can't occasionally hear Pocket. It seems like he runs around yelling every once in a while. He's just been slightly better behaved.
Yeah. Yeah. Neither of my two cats are very vocal. The most that you're going to get happens on the level because I record that at the time when they're getting their zoomies on, and they start like either scratching at walls, or if I have a box anywhere, they get inside of it and start like ripping at it. But it's never meows. It's mostly like scratches that you hear. And yes, they have a scratching pole in every fucking room of this house.
Of course they do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cats don't go in for that kind of shit.
Nope.
Advice for a podcast centric English unit. I don't know. I know advice for like making a podcast, and I listen to podcasts, but ones for like an English unit are tricky. That makes me think of like podcasts that are fictionalized. Written podcast, which like there's several of those I've listened to that are pretty good. Like Old Gods of Appalachia is pretty good. But I don't listen to tons of fictional podcasts.
Yeah. Like a lot of my advice would be like if somebody was setting out for the long haul, if this is for a unit in a class, it ends up being a little bit more, like me saying like show up. Well, yeah, show up and make your thing because you're going to be graded on it, but you're only going to be doing it for 12 weeks or whatever. So it's not necessarily that big of a deal. I would say kind of be genuine, make it about something that you really like, and do your absolute best just to bring yourself to it. Don't like try to mimic or be somebody else.
Yeah. That's in the I would include that in like the general suite of like making a show things, like 100% find an individual voice, be yourself. And then, like you said, consistency. Yep. Super important.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And, if you're making this in a class, I don't see what level of school this is, but like, I don't know, when you're a student, it doesn't feel that way, but you've got so much free time. And get weird with it, experiment.
Oh yeah. Now's the time to do it.
Yeah. You use that time to like work out a class and make cool shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't just put your head down and stare during a study hall.
Yeah.
Like if I just had a dedicated 45-minute period during the day to like draw or write, and I couldn't do anything else.
Yeah.
Today, be still my fucking heart.
I
You know?
mean, so the trick is ingratiate yourself with the staff well enough that when study hall comes around, you can just go and do what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a study hall, like any study hall that I had, it was just like, hey, can I just go hang out in the AV lab? And I was like, yeah. And I just went and edited stuff.
Yeah.
Like I just went and, I wasn't even like taking that class, but I like edited stuff for the like the school news show kind of thing.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And you were still doing things with the remit of the class. Like you weren't getting one over on them.
Yeah.
You're just broadening the definition.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yep.
Drew asks, now that you're more than a decade in and have talked about hundreds of games, congratulations, by the way, I'm curious as to what you think makes for the best type of WAF. Is there a certain genre or specific characteristics that lend themselves particularly well to interesting discussion? Or more specifically, what game, fictional or otherwise, would make the platonic ideal episode of WAF? As an example, is it an unmitigated success that refines longstanding design traditions to perfection, or is it an interesting failure that tries something genuinely new but can't quite tie it all together, or is it something else entirely? This is a good question.
Yeah.
Yeah, what makes the good WAF game?
Survival horror games. No.
So we do like those
We do.
a lot.
Yeah, that like that. I mean, I'm joking about that because I just like playing those kinds of games in general. But like that feels like the proper for our approach. It is the proper mix of mechanics and story. For us to really dig in. Yeah, survival horror games and games where the final encounter inexplicably includes a mechanical bird that emerges from a golden egg.
Sure,
and attacks and kills all the bad guys. Don't know. Don't care.
Okay. As long as it's a metaphor for like chemical warfare or something, then I'm down.
Yeah. Or if giraffes have taken over a town. Yeah.
I would go as far as to say things like that do tend to make, at least the episodes I feel most fondly about, are games that are good, but nonetheless have something entirely wild and dumb.
Yeah.
In them that's very funny. So the mechanical bird, or self-surgery, the ultimate challenge for any doctor.
What was that? So I know that mechanical bird was the last express. What specifically was self-surgery?
Trauma center.
Oh my God, you're right.
Yeah. Like, something like that will just kind of put a tickle in my shoe for the entire walk. Like I'm just like, that line's coming. And then I agree that like a mix is really good. I'm also very part of it is because I like doing them, but I really love our winter shit.
Yeah.
Like those Witcher 3 episodes are really good. Those Morrowind episodes are really good, I think. When we get into a big, long RPG jag, I think that we do really good work.
Yeah.
Like, I think those Dragon Age 2 episodes are really good. Like, it's hard for me to think of a winter Western RPG we've done where I think we like phoned it in and it kind of sucked.
Yeah.
I think we've generally done really good work with that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and like there are ones that I've like enjoyed doing, but they are departures from the regular format. I loved our Atari episode. I loved the Tetris episode. Recently, like roguelikes. Oh, what's that?
Golf.
Yeah.
The golf games episode.
Those format breaking ones are good, but I think that is hard to repeat.
Yeah,
kind of by definition. So.
And in general, like, every once in a while, someone will be like, oh, you couldn't really do a WAF about that. And then I always want to be like, well, yeah, we can.
Yeah.
Like, it might end up being a weirdo one, but I still like trying.
Yeah.
We're going to record about Echo in a little bit. That's going to be a weird one. VR missions, the game.
Yeah.
They're just you're around assets and waist high walls for the entire game. They got a cool skin on them, but boy. So just and we got something coming up that a patron just demanded that'll be a real weird format breaker. But something like The Witness was also like a weird format, and I liked how that went.
Yeah.
And
like the first roguelike we covered, that was pretty tough, but now we've got like a rough formula for it. Yeah, any of those can become a new kind of thing that we do. Yeah.
I'm I very happy to spread our wings.
Yeah,
stuff personally. Is this you?
I think this is me. Let's do one more show question and then do lightning round and then get into the anniversary discussion.
Let's do it.
Eli writes, "Hey guys, I've been listening to some old Walls lately, and I've just got to ask the question that's on everybody's mind. When are you planning to go back and add in some I Think You Should Leave references to old episodes? You guys missed a lot of really great opportunities over the first 10 years of the show. You called Gerald a beefcake, but then we didn't get a carve of beef, no buff boys, and not even troll boy."
Yeah. Troll boys, envoys. Envoys, troll boys.
You know why you can't be it, right? Troll boy.
Yeah. Yeah. You're not it, envoy. You're not. It would be a very fun, tedious process for us to do to torture a couple of specific listeners.
Yes.
Who do not like I Think You Should Leave.
Yeah. But now that I know that
as long
there
as
are
they
people,
stay sweet, we won't do it.
it's the sort of Damocles hanging over their head.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I have been showing I Think You Should Leave to my lady because I want to be able to make references to them.
Right.
And I want her to understand if I say like, what a crop, that I'm not just being a weirdo. Like, somebody brings out some fries and like, what a crop. That's a crop. I just want to be able to speak the language.
Yeah. You want to be able to say, I don't want to be around anymore without them getting really, really concerned.
Scared. Yeah. Yeah. I got too much shit on me. What do you mean by that?
Yeah.
You know now.
Oh.
Yeah. Lightning round. Cinder Elf, who is your favorite Spider-Man villain?
So I mean, the obvious answer would be Dr. Octopus, but I don't want to do the obvious one, so I'm going to say the Lizard.
Ooh, interesting. Kirk Connors.
He was, I'll tell you, he was the villain of like the 90s Spider-Man cartoon that I had had a tape of. Like I just had a tape of that episode and watched it over and over again. I think he's cool. I think it's a good story. And like I've not really read like any runs with him, but like I have read the wikis and stuff and think that's like a neat good idea for a villain. Yeah. Tragic.
Lizard's great. Yeah. This is an off-ball one because I used to hate him. But I'm going to say Venom. And now I like Venom because he's so fucking stupid, largely because of the absolutely transcendently great movies. That's right. I'm assuming the second one is because the first one is so fucking funny. And just Venom just being this big evil. Like, I just think Venom's very funny now.
Yeah.
So go Venom.
What an improbable treat that we're getting a second one.
God. And just like absolute scenery chewing Woody Harrelson. Mm-hmm. For the entire time, like it's going to be incredible. Yeah, and it is just about Tom Hardy's weird roommate relationship with this absolute like head-eating demon. Like the number of just craniums he devours, and then they cut over to he turns back into Tom Hardy, and Tom Hardy kind of does the Jim from The Office face in that first. It's so good.
He's so sweaty. It's
so
amazing.
Many craniums.
Yeah.
Like, God, that movie is good.
Your number one source for sweaty Tom Hardys.
Yeah, it's so incredible.
Oh man, yeah. Let's see here. Charlotte asks, favorite video game character of all time. I mean, all time is hard, but somebody who has loomed large is Kim Kitsuragi.
Yeah, Kim is really hard to fuck with. Yeah. Kim or Harry.
Yeah.
Like I was thinking the other day, because I had that birthday, I was thinking about like the moment where he finds his driver's license and realizes he's only 50 and how like that part in the game like made me messed up real good.
Yeah. It's like, oh God, there's still time. Oh
yeah, there's still time. Like, God, it's so sweet.
God,
what a good character.
I mean, not to be like cliche, I've got that guy goosebumps thinking about that.
Yeah. A wonderful moment.
Yeah.
So those are both really good answers. And then like, I love JC Denton. For meminess, JC Denton is very hard to fuck with. Yeah. Yeah. The supercut on YouTube of JC Denton's best lines is a consistent watch. Because everything is delivered the same way. So when he's yelling about punks like JoJo and it sounds genuinely badass, it's pretty good.
Fucking JoJo.
David says, if you were a Darkest Dungeon hero, what would you be and what would your skill set be? The podcaster class is not super strong.
I mean, less useful than antiquarian for sure.
Yeah, it needs a buff. Little buff podcasters, faces of podcasters, bodies of men.
No, bodies of podcasters.
Just faces of podcasters, bodies of podcasters. I do not know what the skill would be.
Just like from the existing ones, probably Man at Arms. See myself as a support guy, you know?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't think about as an existing one, so I'm still going to go with the largely useless podcaster class.
Yes. Yeah. Let's see here. Question Queers asks, favorite era of Rush?
I like Rush, but I don't know that I like Rush enough to have a favorite era.
Yeah. I like particular songs, you know, but like going and looking, I would say like late 70s, like ending at Moving Pictures in 81, because that has like the songs everybody knows on it. You know, I can like name favorite Rush song, Closer to the Heart, favorite live Rush performance, Rush in Rio, obviously. Yeah. But yeah.
My
Before they got real
favorite
synthy.
What was that? Sorry.
Before they got real synthy.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And they have like a cheesy 80s period as well. My favorite Rush album is 2112, which I just now found out is in the mid 70s.
Yes.
So that's probably my favorite era, but I'm not super deep on Rush. Like I like Rush. I'm always happy when Rush comes on, but I listen to that album from time to time.
Yeah.
But not super deep. Simon says, congratulations on 10 years. Thank you both for everything on the network. I'm a recent patron. Hundreds of hours of WAF and Bonfireside Chat have been a real balm throughout the pandemic. My question, your favorite Bowie albums or song or track? You can choose. Question mark, exclamation point. Simon's favorites, depending on the day, are Scary Monsters, Station to Station, or Black Star. Casting my vote for a Bowie podcast someday.
I would be real lost in a Bowie podcast.
It would be a lot of me trying to get you into Bowie. You know, those are very similar to my favorites. I love Black Star, but I don't like it quite as much. But Scary Monsters and Station to Station, both excellent. Scary Monsters is my favorite David Bowie album. You know, but actually by quite a bit. Up there with like Lodger, my second favorite. And then favorite song, you know, from that record, probably I really like Scream Like a Baby. That song is excellent. Yeah, those are good Bowie things. And I would love to do a Bowie podcast, even if it wasn't with Cole, not because I want to cheat on you, but just because, you know, I want to find another enthusiast. I wouldn't want to make you read like a biography of somebody you don't care that much.
Yeah. I'm a Bowie well-wisher insofar as I don't wish him any specific harm.
Hey, you didn't wish him that one specific harm, did you?
No, not that one. I'm gonna have to look somebody else. Look for somebody else on that one. No,
me and Amon, we're gonna have to roll you.
I'm more of a Bowie's greatest hits listener kind of guy. That's that's fine. But like the album of his that I have like listened to the most, probably like front to back, is Black Star, just because that came out and I really enjoyed the singles off of that. And yeah, like the whole thing having that elegiac kind of aura. It is a good, creepy, kind of cohesive thing front to back to me. And I dig the vibe. Record. Yeah.
He's good.
Yeah. Just
sadly, he's not around.
Think about how lucky you are to go out on something that is considered to be widely considered to be that good and adventurous, you know? Yeah.
Yeah. Really, really cool not to just kind of, you know, fade out. Really bummed that I never saw Bowie.
Yeah.
My number one, like, missed him.
Yeah.
Kind of artist. Let's talk about doing the show.
Yeah. This is weird and hard because we don't usually celebrate things. Like we specifically, we celebrated the first anniversary and then just kind of kept going.
Yeah. Because celebrating is not doing the work.
Right. And you know, if there's an option of all the things to do, guess what's going to get done? The work.
Yeah. Yeah. That's kind of how we work. I was thinking about, I was going to put together a bunch of questions for this and then didn't. There's no story to that. I just kind of didn't.
Yeah.
But I have some of the things in mind still. That would be a good thing. What do you think is something? And I can answer these too. I'm not just going to interview you for this thing. What is something that you think that we do better than we did, and what is something that you think that we do not do better? That is like roughly the same, or something that we still need to work on.
Yeah. I mean, there are obvious things that we that we do better. Sound, things like that. I think that our rapport has gotten better naturally. If it hadn't, there would be something really wrong.
It'd be real weird.
It'd be real weird if things were always as.
Sure. Should I go or?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Nonstop.
Yeah. And just as our understanding of each other and. Just kind of being able to kind of set each other up for our points, I think is real good. It's a real kind of like passing the ball back and forth kind of thing. That is that is I think hugely important to the way our shows work. I think that just like in general as well, developing the shared vocabulary, that is something that has gotten better and I think really sharpened our critical eye. I also think that has maybe pushed certain people away as we've gotten more strongly expressed. Like that can be read as kind of unnecessary negativity when it is not necessarily intended to be that way. So I think that is something that kind of cuts both ways, but I think that we're like, more insightful now, even if just by brute force from having covered hundreds and hundreds of games front to back over the course of a decade. It's all stuff that would just be weird if we didn't. Things that we haven't gotten that much better about. Like there are filler words and things like that, but like we've decided that that's not really a problem. People will like leave reviews and say, "Oh, there's too many ums or ahs or what have you," but that is something that could be worked on, but it's not the sound we're looking for. So it is, I think, better for us to have our thought process represented than to like present something that is like the second draft of a conversation.
Yeah. That was an intentional choice on our part.
Yeah.
For sure. The main thing that I think that way that I've gotten better is that since the show started, I'm 7 inches taller now. Than I was before, and it shows no sign of stopping.
It's super weird.
Like a lot of the sounds you hear in the background are actually my bones creaking. It's not.
It's
pretty or anything like that.
Like it's pretty painful. I cut out a lot of moaning. I just say, "Oh God, the femur again."
Yeah.
Like
it happens one bone at a time, which is a real problem.
Yeah.
Because I'm all like walking like look, you're limping. It's like no. I do this podcast and that femur's taller than the other one. No, patreon.com/Duckfeed.tv.
For the love of God, stop giving. You can't get out of the house.
In seriousness, the things you said, I agree with. Comfort on mic has allowed, I think, is the two big factors that allow us to put out a lot of content are editing with markers and then being able to just kind of get going and not overthink it too much.
Yeah.
Part of the reason, this is a peek behind the curtain kind of thing, and some people, this won't be to everyone's taste, but part of the reason why we've moved away from having as many guests on the show is because it is just so much more comfortable, at least for, I don't know if I can speak for you, but for me, just to sit down and know I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
If there's somebody else in the room, like even if there's somebody who I really like, there is a degree of discomfort that is added to it.
Agreed. Yeah.
Whereas it's the most natural thing in the world just to sit down and jaw about games with you.
Yeah.
I think that's helped a lot. And then the thing that I think that we have not gotten better at but not as well at is I think that you and I both still need to get better at having an appropriate attitude towards criticism and feedback.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it when we were recording that orb and like seeing how the boys, the Venture Brother boys do it, where they're like, yeah, people were mad about this. And they're just kind of laugh about it, Whereas like, somebody will say something mean to one of us now and it can like legitimately affect my mood, which is not something I'm proud of.
Yeah.
It's a weird job to have a situation where strangers are going to say mean things to you online. And, just to disclose, like I understand as a white dude who's cis and straight, I'm not getting nearly as bad as it could be.
Yeah.
That is the experience for people, marginalized folks online, even when they don't do a show. But it's still, the reality of my situation is that I still have to deal with it.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether it is as bad as it could be.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something I have been, and I say I want to work on it, but it's also a thing where like I've been working on it for years and years and years, and it hasn't gotten better. Like it still affects.
Yeah. Yeah. It only gets to me if somebody's like unnecessarily mean at this point,
Yeah.
Just if it is worded in a way that is like meant to be cruel. It's definitely gotten better, but not better enough. I would agree with you with that. And also, like, as my mental health has evolved and changed, and I've grown to understand more, like being unable to process like criticism or rejection is a thing that is a symptom of things that I have. It's weird. Not an excuse, but like an explanation for like, oh, that probably explains why that has not come as easy to me as I had hoped it would be, which makes this a weird job to have.
I wouldn't take that away from you, but I also think that there's a degree of that like from the outside, it's very easy to be like, oh, I would just shake that off. Who cares?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then it's very different when you're actually in it.
Yes.
It is a surreal thing to have an insult thrown at you unbidden.
Mm-hmm.
From somebody you don't know and you don't know what it's about.
Yeah.
So regardless of any kind of like mental health thing, I think that's very weird.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, something to work on.
Yeah.
Do you have any big regrets of the show? Like anything that you wish had gone differently? Like how does this show as it is now compare to how you may have envisioned it? Or how you may have wanted it?
I mean, the show as it exists now, I'm so happy with it. I never had expectations for it beyond it being a fun thing to do, and every decision that we've made, has been for us. And like, yeah, there are decisions that like, oh yeah, but this will put butts on the heat and the seats if we do this one versus this, cover this game versus this game, or cover this now versus cover this later. Like there are decisions there, but like big ones, it's really hard to have regrets when every decision that you've made feels justified because of the results, right?
Yeah.
So like, I don't necessarily have that many. Like, would it be cool to be bigger? Yeah. But also like, I'm comfortable.
We're great.
Yeah,
we're doing great.
Yeah.
Like it would be cool, but then also like, I cannot even begin to complain.
No. Yeah. And just and that's the thing. Keep doing the work, and history has shown like you just wait. It'll grow little by little.
Yeah.
Just patience.
Yeah, and it doesn't work that way for everybody, and I'm really happy it's worked out for us.
Yes,
because a lot of the decisions that we make, like in terms of stress points or agony, that Cole and I have, the high end of the scale are like community management, Slack things. Mm-hmm. The low end of the scale are network direction things in terms of stress. Like we take that stuff seriously, but a lot of times we're like, what about this? And we're like, yeah, I was thinking that too. Let's do this. And like, how about it this way? Okay. And then we do it and it works out.
Yeah.
Like we stressed a lot about all the times we have changed the format of the show or done changes with the networks. But it's worked out and we've stressed less and less.
Yeah.
So like to me, the remaining friction points are things like, just like, oh man, somebody's acting out in the Slack. What do we do?
Yeah.
And that'll ruin a day.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's an entire day of like just going back and forth.
Yeah.
And then sometimes we will spend all this time and then it'll just go away.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so dumb.
Yeah.
But in terms of like network decisions and stuff, that's been very rewarding and is not, I agree. Mm-hmm. Like it has just generally been very encouraged.
Yeah. And like, I mean, things that are like disappointments or bummers, like, I don't know. It sucks that the pandemic had stopped us from going places. I really hope that gets fixed. I don't see it happening soon, but like that's out of our control, and it's kind of it is not productive to dwell on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. Like I would like to do live shows again.
Yeah.
Very much so. What about do you got any prompt things for this?
I mean, I put it to you. I mean, just like for your expectations, like, I think we started the show, and for the first couple of years, we were, this was, I don't even know what my goal was besides just to do the show and have fun. So like how is the show lined up with your expectations?
I think that in my head, the original idea that I had for it was something closer to like an audio magazine, which is something closer to what the level does now.
Yeah.
But as like a deep dive into an individual game with more like interview style content or what have you.
Yeah.
With that kind of thing. And that was biting off more than I could chew. So I'm glad that, it didn't work out that way.
Yeah.
Cause if, that might be cool, but if we were trapped into that right now, we would put out a lot less stuff, a lot slower. And in terms of expectations, I also had very, very low expectations. Like I remember, us doing it and then numbers coming back and being like better than other stuff that we were doing at the time. And that just being like a very pleasant surprise.
Yeah.
And not really basing any expectations off of that, because a lifetime of motions to everything has trained me to have low expectations for things. So when it worked out and, we're able to do this full time, that was very surprising.
Yes.
And good to me.
Yeah. I feel like I won some kind of lottery, somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I look around like all kinds of things in my life and think that, and it's a really fun feeling. I'm just sitting there, like 2 cats are on my bed, just looking at me, not doing anything.
Yeah.
I'm like, what did I do to deserve you? How did I get 2 cats alike in dignity?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, how did I do to deserve this? It's a good feeling.
It's an incredibly good feeling, and like, I don't know, my imposter syndrome has not necessarily been a thing for a while about it. I feel comfortable in it.
Yeah. I've given up on that stuff too. That is something that has definitely been a change, and it's just like, it just took 10 years, but just 10 years of success, and that'll do it. But I no longer have that feeling of like, I don't belong here.
Yeah.
Cause I realize that, that idea is fake.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. Like you belong in a place because you do it.
Yes.
And again, this is not recognizing the privilege. Like that is not true for people who are given abuse or are a part of a marginalized community. In a general sense, under circumstances I'm familiar with, through all the caveats on there, it is, you belong because you took the action to do it. There's not really that big of a difference. Like when people, talk about advice or saying like, hey, how do you do this? And you and I both have the entire time have just been like, oh, just do it.
Yeah.
Like do the thing. And that's what it's a self-selecting club. It doesn't necessarily, like, we were extremely lucky. It does not mean that you will become very lucky. But we didn't do anything to get this other than be consistent.
Yeah.
And kind of grow and be lucky.
And buy us something awful at the right time.
Yeah.
And him a bim bam at the right time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you feel about the decision we made to kind of stop being a retro show and expand to contemporary stuff?
It makes me, I'm not a metrics guy, but it does make me curious as to whether like that has hurt or helped us more. Because we do get people griping about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who are just retro people. That's fine. But so I like it in terms of our end. And I think that one of the innovations of the network is that we realize that like, it's very important to make things sustainable for us or we won't do it. Like, I think that lack of joy would come through in the shows. So typically the direction has gone based on us following what we would want to do by the logic that we'll have more fun doing what we want to do.
Yeah.
In that respect, it's been a complete success.
Yes.
In terms of like having less of a niche or in terms of alienating some listeners, I do not know.
Yeah. I mean, there was not an appreciable dip around all of those. And in fact, a lot of our most popular episodes are like big tent poles that have come out, relatively recently compared to when the episode came. So,
yeah. So yeah, I mean, and just the people who are upset about it are just louder,
Yeah.
you know,
Mhm.
probably,
Yeah.
which is fine, which just tends to be like people who are upset all the time.
Yeah. just the way that it works. But yeah, really kind of like
Yeah.
realizing, that was a pretty big step, because it changes the story of how you talk about the game,
Mhm.
or how you talk about the show. Right now, how you talk about the game. Explicitly, it doesn't. Kind of like getting confident with that decision and thinking, no, like our approach is the thing that we hope will
Yeah.
bring people in and keep them here, as opposed to any gimmick. Because and I like talking just about retro games, like that is not necessarily a gimmick in and of itself, but what it does create is room for people to gerrymander.
Yeah.
When you say like, why are you covering this? That isn't X, Y, or Z. I just remember, like one of the first years we were at PRGE, we had like Super Mario or Mario Kart. It was one of those here. And we said, oh, we're a retro game podcast. And the person, just kind of this crusty, kind of graybeard kind of guy, was like, came out after Donkey Kong. How retro can it be?
Well, there's also do you remember the kid who did that?
Oh,
There was like an 11-year-old kid or something who came up and explained it
yeah.
to us what retro was.
Yep. I remember
And
that.
it was very surreal.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, and I think that in general, getting away from those kind of definitions, we were never that far into it, but I think one of the arcs of the show was getting further away from that kind of like some of that self-selecting culture stuff,
Yeah.
and I'm into that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really care what a retro game is, it doesn't, I don't think it matters that much.
Yeah.
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 So what do you, is there something that you can see changing with the format of the show or the network that we don't do now? Even if you're not necessarily endorsing it or wanting to do it now, is there something that you can imagine?
I mean, other than just like, I don't know, if a new platform or something comes along that'd be fun to do things with, I don't have any desire to move away from audio. I don't, like, I do minimal video stuff, and the streams are good, but that's a different thing. And as far as like covering different things or covering them differently, I don't know. I like our approach, and I don't know that I would want to, kind of vary it that much. Maybe alter the mixture a little bit, like maybe, do more of like the special, kind of deep dive episodes again, like the Atari or Tetris kind of thing, because those are really fun to do, if not, if also a lot of work. But yeah, like call it a lack of imagination if you want, but I'm pretty happy with the way, like with the format stuff that we've arrived at for right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what we would change. Like in my dream world, again, this is no moving towards this, but I think that like network kept growing. It never ended up making sense to actually, like, I thought about before the Duckfeed compound,
Yeah.
mostly for cult reasons,
Of course.
calling it a compound.
Yeah.
But the idea of, at some point, like being in the same place,
Yeah.
because it would allow us to do things, like Giant Bomb does, like fun bro out streams,
Yeah.
or allow us to cover more tabletop stuff, either ancillary or on the main show.
Yeah.
Like a whole section of games that we don't do. That is a fun idea to me.
It is. Yeah.
And every once in a while when I'm walking by and I see like a building for sale, like a cool building, I'm like, that would be neat.
Yeah.
That'd be a cool way to lose a lot of money.
Oh my gosh. Like just to go bankrupt immediately. Yeah.
Yeah. In terms of businesses that I want to run at a loss, the one I'm running now is up there. Just run into the ground.
The most intensely I ever felt that feeling was in my old neighborhood in Cincinnati, before I moved up here to where I'm living now. There was a this old style funeral home that went up for sale. I was like, shit, if we bought a funeral home and turned that into studio space. Yeah.
Be great. Like we'd have an embalming basement.
We would.
What would we do in that basement? We might have a crematorium.
Yeah.
Like we could burn evidence, Cole.
We could. I mean, it'd be
Yeah.
damn near incumbent on us to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, all the various Derek's and hybrids we made for Object Suffering would all have a way to get to hell.
Yeah. I mean, their spirits are wandering, tormented, bound to the place of their strongest regret.
Or they're still alive and they're just kind of stuck as like an addict stooge. Like if we could burn them, we had some way to get rid of the bodies.
Yeah.
Having that kind of thing. We each have like our own office, and then there's like a lounge. Like TV and streaming setup. Real easy.
Yeah.
The other thing I've thought about, and I've talked about this a little bit, and there's no plans. Like none of this stuff is just fucking around. So don't worry about that. But I've thought about before, like if we ever get to the point where it makes a lot of sense to grow, in terms of like staffing, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
I think that we're not there yet. Like right now we don't have enough extra stuff to justify it, and the financial hit would be tough, at least while I'm living in Portland, but it would be cool to at some point have like a third person who is kind of like administrative and stuff, who does a lot of the back end stuff and then does community management and things like that. Like I've fantasized about hiring somebody for that.
Definitely fantasize about having a little bit more headroom to focus on the deep work of making the shows. Imagine if you didn't have to, I mean, I understand that like, there's a joy to a lot of that work, for both of us to a degree. But not having to do that all and just being able to focus on being present. And stuff. I think that would make for better content. Agreed. Yeah.
So maybe someday, like, I'd want more money for it, because it's not just like splitting, the money, like hiring somebody is a whole thing.
It's a whole, there's a lot more to that.
The government wants in on that shit. Like if we were just like slipping somebody some money, that's one thing. But flash forward to a courtroom where this audio is being played.
Oh no.
If we were to slip,
I swear I read books about this.
Cole was wearing this hat. He would not take it off. On Twitter in the background, someone just told me that there's a movie called The CIA Ape. And it's about a CIA agent that's a monkey.
Yay. Is he a CIA agent who turns into a monkey, or is it a monkey who turns into a CIA agent?
I think it's a monkey who turns into a CIA agent.
Ooh.
Coming soon, a secret agent who does not work for peanuts. Ape, special agent, is what his name thing says. There's a trailer for the CIA Ape as well. Holy shit. I'm gonna wrap around the axle on the CIA Ape. I take back all my answers. I think training apes to join one of the more oppressive government institutions would be the direction I want to take the network in. So,
oh man, coolest thing aside from the fact that you make your living doing this crazy Peter Pan job.
Creating a CIA Ape. So those are all kind of some thoughts we have about the future and past. Specific questions are welcome if we didn't get to yours. Obviously, big thank you. Big thanks to everybody. Thank you.
No, I mean, and thank you, Gary. Thanks for answering that email.
Good stuff.
So and thanks everybody, because like the coolest things, the CIA isn't the coolest thing, but I was leading into like honestly the coolest thing is kind of like having met all the people that we met and worked with and hung out with, and then doing the charity streams and stuff like that. Like that's all cool and rewarding and gratifying. Wouldn't trade any of it.
Jeremy text every day. Like that's one of my best friends. I met him through this thing. And then Will, who I met not through the network, I now get to talk to and build this entirely like bonkers little side world universe. And that is created, weirdly enough, like that is the show, one of our least listened to show that has created the most like fan content and fan art.
Oh yeah.
There are videos and games and like all kinds of shit. With Guppy, so like that has really brought the weirdos out in a good way.
Love it.
So thanks everybody.
So here's to 10 more years and no more.
And then we both ritually do something.
Just walk into the woods, don't come back out.
Or into the ocean. go into the ocean.
Yeah, why not?
I know how jellyfish work now. I can tell you whether they're pregnant or whether they just ate.
Yeah, I can use their secrets as leverage.
Yeah.
Insinuate myself into their society.
Yeah. Yeah. Deep cover. Deep cover. In Outer Wilds, it was wrong that you went under the bell of the jellyfish to get under the thing, because that's where all the action is. That's where you get killed.
I mean,
the bell is actually the safe part.
That's where where the tentacles are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, because it's like not even
There's-
like the tentacles that I get you. It's like the spines on the inside of the bell, right?
There's little tentacles on the sides of the bell.
Mm.
They get you little cilia, but they're called tentacles. But then the things that are the longer things are called aural arms.
Mm.
Yeah, and those things are relatively harmless, even though they will grab onto you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, scary.
Well, yeah.
Let's read some responses.
Let's do. Starting with Katana Zero, a game I cannot believe we covered this month, but we did.
It feels like a million years ago.
It does, yeah. Bert writes via contact saying, I very much enjoyed Katana Zero and was more compelled by the story than the gameplay, which seems to be the opposite of how you guys felt. The gameplay was cool, but frustrating at times during the harder stages. The only Hotline Miami that I played was number 2, and it bounced off of it very quickly. I was surprised that you found the Hotline Miami games to be superior. I was a little disappointed in the response to this game, as it felt like a lot of criticism for a game you both seemed to score pretty favorably.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't remember scoring it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny how what our intent is when we're saying our words about a game does not often match what people will take from it.
Yeah.
So people will be like, "Oh man, I can't believe you completely blasted this thing. Like you hated it." And then I'll be like, no, I just thought there were things I didn't like about it, but like, there's lots of good things about it, you know? And then vice versa will happen as well.
Yeah.
You know, it's very surprised. Like there are some things where it's like nobody's unsure of what we, you know, like nobody's walking away from our Ashen coverage and wondering how we feel about Ashen.
Right.
But games coverage, like traditionally, not, you know, there are plenty of people not doing this now, but traditionally has been so like all or nothing.
Yeah.
That I think that sometimes it's hard for a mixed review to come across.
Yeah.
You know? And that's something that we were talking about people who are when we were talking in the last segment, we were talking about the discussion section, like some people literally go to, and I'm not saying Bert's doing this at all, but some people literally go to this kind of thing for like a cheerleading section.
Yeah.
You know, like they just like, what if I just want to hear this. I love this thing. I want to hear people talk about how awesome it is.
Yeah.
You know, and if you look at YouTube, which there are more YouTube shows that do basically what we do than podcasts at this point, a lot of them are that.
Yeah.
You know, like friend of Bonfireside Chat, Dave Control Live, who does videos that are just like the Super Show things, which are just huge tributes. Like it's just a big love fest to games that he loves. You know, and it is a game by game, you know, take on it and stuff. It's not that dissimilar to what we do. It's a love fest, and that's not what we're doing.
Yeah, and like that's a format thing, like because there is a legacy of the enthusiast press. The idea is that, you know, why would you cover something if you weren't enthusiastic about it, right? Just like the constant refrain. Why did you send somebody who does, you know, who is not crazy about X, Y, or Z to review this? Why did you send somebody who didn't love every Marvel movie to review a Marvel movie? Why would you send somebody who hasn't like aced every Dark Souls game, you know, to review the new Dark Souls, right? I like somebody who just kind of wanders in and sees the big list of games we cover may think like, oh, they chose to cover these things because they like them.
And that's
no,
not the case. And it also runs into the other thing that happens whenever we do a game where the sequel fixes the problems.
Yes,
you know, like we have to say, like the idea is not to do the best version of a thing, because we are not coming at this with, you know, there are plenty of people who do games coverage with the idea of championing things, and that's not what we do.
Yeah.
So yeah. Jimmy says via contact, Like you both, I was disappointed by Katana Zero after having really enjoyed Hotline Miami, especially since Katana Zero came out for the Switch a year before the Hotline Miami collection. The game itself seemed like a worse put together version of Wildfire. While the story scenes in the apartment really don't work for me, they did remind me of scenes from a 2019 Oscar-nominated animated short titled Weekends, a much more successful story about a boy spending weekends with his divorced father. It's a positive tale and lovingly animated by Trevor Jimenez and can be rented, and has far less unnecessary swearing. If this is, I think I've seen this, if this is what I think it is, and it's awesome.
Oh.
But I did not feel like it was that positive. I felt like it was kind of scary.
Oh.
So it makes me wonder whether I'm thinking of the same one. I need to kind of look it up here in the background.
Yeah.
Weekends. What I saw that's great. I did not feel like it was super positive. I thought it was super cool though. So recommended.
Yeah, I didn't read I didn't read Zero's interactions with the girl as divorced dad, but yeah, it's big divorced dad kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Like, oh, I guess I'll have to learn. Oh, I'm babysitting.
Yeah.
I have to learn how to make food.
All I've got is fish paste. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Demicole writes via contact.
That's exactly 1/2 or 1/4 of a coal, depending on what strength.
It is Demi COL. So I don't know how to say it better than the way that I said it.
Make a dummy joke.
I'm glad you covered this game, even if you didn't like it as much as I hoped. I am probably the person this game was made for, as I have 55 hours of playtime on it, getting every achievement, and I even started to speedrun the game. My best time is 25 minutes. Wow. Some extra things that you didn't mention. There are unlockable weapons that all play slightly differently. There's a very big sword that is slow but bypasses shield. There's a dagger with shorter reach but also lower cooldown on swings. And 3 variants of the regular sword that either just make all blood rainbow colors instead, or that shoot out the master sword beams or fire. The speedrun mode menu also lets you play on hard mode. Which, if you thought the normal game was hard, it took me 5 hours and 1,600 deaths to complete, even after playing the game for 40 plus hours. This also introduces a new variant of the Skinny Ricky enemy that is faster and has an attack that ignores the iframes on your dodge roll, along with just more difficult enemy placement in general. Finally, as someone who has essentially, quote, mastered the game, fuck the dragon level.
Yeah, fuck the dragon level.
Yeah, it's no good.
Yeah, I think like I knew a little bit about those unlocks in there. I just knew that like even games I really love, like I'm generally not going to be a completionist for.
Yeah.
So this is very useful. Like part of the reason why we like doing the feedback episodes is to amend.
Yes.
Episodes.
Yeah. Some of those sound fun. Like the big one that gets past shields sounds actually useful.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
You know. And I'm always happy with like a non-cosmetic change.
Yeah.
You know? Evil Taco says via contact, the dialogue system of Katana Zero was a delight to me. I could match through the dialogue faster, and it would actually make the story more comical. It seems like me wanting to skip the chit-chat and get to the gameplay had some tangible consequences how the storytelling would play out. I always cut the shrink out, which sounds like it made the dynamic between the characters quite different. Shut up and give me the drug. I'll burn the dossier before reading. I'll kill the DJ before listening, not because I was told to, but just because it's faster. I would slow down when the neighbor girl was introduced to the story. I didn't really want to slow down, but hey, I don't want a child to get hurt. This actually gave my character a little bit of a development arc. I started to gradually pay a bit more attention to the dialogue otherwise as well. Because I was less exposed to the plot at the start, I believe this resulted in the story having a stronger curve for me. There's a bigger sense of opening up than playing it straight would have, because I had skipped a lot of the earlier exposition and clues. Even though I didn't much care for the story as such, I was still impressed by the way my impatience affected how it was told. I was okay with the open-ended conclusion of the game. Its revelations and etceteras felt like a good point to stop for now. I'll probably be back for the sequels for the excellent gameplay, and hopefully I can still interrupt everyone when they try to talk to me. Thank you for the show. I've been playing along this month, and it's been great fun. Best regards from Ulu, Finland.
Yeah, I could not begin to tell you.
OULU.
Yes. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I always like when people tell us where they're writing from, especially when it is someplace far away like Finland.
Go Finland.
Yeah, go fighting Finlands.
Fighting Finns. fish game.
Yeah. Dialogue system's cool. And I like the natural curve where your relationship with the girl kind of mirrored the samurai's relationship with the girl. It's kind of like, okay, I'm gonna start paying attention to you because you're saying you are ingratiating yourself to me. Yeah.
I could see it working better that way, like partly by virtue of the show, but also the way I like, even if I don't like dialogue, I don't skip it because I don't know that I don't like it until I've already read it.
And you don't know there's going to be like useful stuff, like, they're going to say, and make sure you check the third red door. Yeah,
exactly. So like whenever I'm like, this game has too slow of an intro or too much dialogue, and people are like, oh, you can skip it. It doesn't really answer the criticism to me, because I don't know that I can skip it until that person told me that, and by then I've already played it. So like when people are like, oh man, they changed Okami so you can skip the intro cutscenes. And I'm like, that's good, but I only know that you can do that after I've already struggled through that garbage in Okami, like that 5 minutes of just absolute nonsense, that you go through. Like it doesn't feel as good. I don't know that I don't need it. So skipping the dialogue as a system is a cool idea that I think is really hard to get across.
Yeah.
For me, especially in the way that Katana Zero does it, where you actually had to wait for a meter to not skip it.
Yeah.
So not only do I not know whether the thing someone's telling me is going to be important, I don't know whether my options to respond are going to be significant, and I have to wait for them to appear. So the fact that it was so talky ended up being pretty detrimental to me, despite the novel dialogue system.
Yeah. Moving on to Sonic 2 responses. Stuart says, Sonic 2 is the first game that I remember playing where I got a sense of a huge implied world with a deep and involving lore. There was something about the mix of ancient, modern, and futuristic locales that made my young imagination run wild. That feeling kept me on the Sonic bandwagon well into the 3D games, because they had a lot of that same stuff. It was a difficult thing to pursue, and clearly couldn't last.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's grown up.
Yeah. That sense was more strong for me in Sonic 3 and Knuckles, because it was kind of, the more cohesive with the island. It was like, okay, I start out, on the edge here in this mushroom forest, and now I'm like through these ruins, and I'm down into the caves and things like that, and I'm in the volcanic heart of it. But yeah, just those nice little accidental stories that come about from just juxtaposition of areas.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and also being a kid with a much more broad imagination.
Yeah, it's the time for filling in blanks.
Yep.
Tara says via contact, if you asked me a few years ago if Sonic was good, I'd say sure, the old games. But after playing Sonic Mania a couple years ago and revisiting Sonic 2 alongside WAF, I think I'm leaning towards the series never having been all that good. The frequent momentum-killing obstacles and Sonic's weird physics while moving slowly, combined with the unforgiving limited continues, made Sonic 2 a chore to play. The final boss stage was particularly a low point for me. I think the best way to experience Sonic 2 might be the way that I did as a kid, playing the first few levels a couple times a year at my cousin's place who had a Genesis. Shout out to Genesis cousins. I don't know how I would have felt about the Sonic 2 revisit without save states.
Yeah.
I definitely felt increased friction and all of those things about that dichotomy of whether Sonic, how it uses obstacles and why. Mm-hmm. I still think is deeply weird.
Yeah.
So I appreciate it, but it's because I'm deciding to go at it in an easy mode, I think. Mm-hmm. So I ended up liking it even aside from nostalgia, but it's because I cheated.
Yeah. And I mean, that can apply to a good number of games made before like 1998 that we cover.
100%.
Yeah.
Like I will always use save states if they're available. Mm-hmm. Because life is short.
It is.
Someday we'll do a Ninja Gaiden episode. And if you think I'm going through Ninja Gaiden without save states, you're out of your fucking mind.
Nope.
Yeah, big no.
Doug says via contact, first, congratulations on a decade of WAF. I don't know what I did to earn the friend of the show status, but I'm very glad to be one. You've always been incredibly generous with your time, and it's been my privilege to listen, support, and get to know you both over the years. This is Doug. He's been a guest on the show, longtime supporter, and just generally a great member of the community. Fun guy.
Yeah, thanks, Doug.
Yeah, thank you. On to Sonic 2. I confess I was an SNES kid and never beat a 2D Sonic game. In revisiting it, I've been trying to understand why I found it so daunting. The answer came as I recently started playing Psychonauts 2. Psychonauts 2's platforming is, I am pleased to report, vastly improved over the notorious original, yet it somehow feels like Psychonauts. While Raz's controls are tighter and improved, the real secret is that the levels are now better designed around his moveset. Contrast that with Sonic. The developers can't know when you might lose your momentum, so the levels have to be navigable by Sonic at high and low speeds at all times. While the game appears to sing at high speeds, all you're really doing is holding right and praying, like driving a Ferrari full throttle in pea soup fog.
Do you think God has a filter set up for prayers around Sonic?
I think he's got a there's a macro. Yeah.
Yeah. Like if you send a prayer to God and it has Sonic anywhere in the subject line, like you're getting blocked.
Yeah, no, just it's immediately forwarded to Satan.
Yeah. Or to Jesus, the intern.
Whew. At slow speeds, Sonic's jumping and movement is slippery and weird. It's so imprecise that it feels like Tails' ability to helicopter you past obstacles feels like the designer saying, "We know, we're sorry." Sonic has thus always seemed like a speed mechanic in search of a game. I can't say I'm capable of designing levels that better match the way Sonic moves, but I don't know that I've seen Sega pull it off in 2D either.
Yeah, I largely agree, even though I think that the thing that I came upon in the episode that I think is that they make sense because they're expecting you to play them over and over and memorize them.
Yeah.
Like if the developers can't know when you'll lose speed, but you can choose when you lose speed.
Yeah.
If you play the level enough times. That's not how I want to play games. Even really then, but definitely not now. But I think that is what they're going for. Like I also agree it's kind of a weird evolutionary dead end, which we talked about. But I think that's what the idea was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Moving on to Singularity. Abe says via contact, I was just listening to the Singularity episode. I had to pause to let you know that you missed a golden opportunity to quote Milhouse when you mentioned Demichev insisting on being carried. I can't go on. You two go ahead and carry me with you. Is that the episode where we're on the island?
I think it might be Lemon of Troy.
No, I think it's Das Bus.
Oh, it is Das Bus, isn't it? Yeah.
Like the weird shitty Milhouse in that episode, like the first appearance of jerk ass Milhouse. Like
it does have one of my favorite jokes, which is Nelson taking Milhouse's glasses to start a fire. You think he's going to focus the sun, but he just starts striking a rock against them.
It's real good. It's also what gave us I'm So Hungry I Could Eat at Arby's.
Oh yeah. And it tastes like burning. Yeah. Good episode, Das Bus.
Really weird one. Like, watching it on revisit, but
well, I mean the ending. Yeah, let's just say they're saved by Mo.
It's when they started leaning into that stuff.
Yeah.
We don't give a shit. Why do you care? Yeah. They started like Doc hammering the end of their episodes.
They did.
Well then.
Oh God. But thank you for letting us know about the missed opportunity. We will try not to let it happen again.
Yeah, we'll edit it back in. Along with a bunch of references to Buff Boys.
Yes. Carlo writes via contact. This was a game that I played almost 10 years ago, and I never thought I would get someone to talk about it. It's a great B-tier shooter, but the only problem I had with it was the ending. When you go back in time to kill yourself, I had the idea to shoot the doctor instead, because it seems like that would work as well. The game makers seem to have thought of that, though, because if you do, the screen goes white and you just have to try again to shoot yourself. What do you think about when the makers of a game leave out such an obvious path just because they want you to go their way? Why do they even acknowledge the option if they aren't going to do anything with it? Thanks. Love the show.
Yeah. The ending of Fallout 3. I'd like to have a word.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up as the most infamous example. Yeah.
Yeah. It sucks when that happens. For Singularity, I didn't mind it because it's like, again, it's a B game.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting them to account for everything. It was more disappointing in Fallout 3 because it was a huge game where like possibility was supposed to matter, a lot more than this like linear narrative.
Yeah. And just I forget the name of the character, but when they literally say, "No, you're the chosen one who must do this. This must be
Fox.
your journey." Yeah, Fox.
Or any
Doing
number
that.
of people. You have multiple companions that are
But
immune to radiation.
yeah, but just Fox in particular. Maybe it's just because I brought her, but
Well, it's because she's a good guy.
well, yeah,
So if you bring the ghoul, he could refuse because he's an asshole.
yeah.
The Fox wouldn't refuse.
No,
What a shitty character. All the shitty characters in that game.
yeah,
So horrible. Every one of those companions fucking blows.
yeah.
What are they doing?
Oh gosh.
See, I Singularity is so slight that like just thinking about the ending of Singularity just made me mad at Fallout 3.
It's like
Like,
it's hard to like. I
Singularity.
can't
It's too
hold it.
little.
I can't hold its sins against it. I have to hold its sins against something else.
Yeah, it's too baby. It's like putting on a suit of armor and charging it a hot fudge sundae. Like Singularity is not going to hurt us. We're not the Blues Brothers, Marty. Ryan says via contact. I think this game is a B+ game that does a lot right, but falls just short of being an A. I love the time manipulation device. The Seeker is a fun idea that you only get a few chances to really use. The minigun feels great, and the rest of the guns are solid. Some of the puzzles get one note towards the end, and you can tell that they didn't get to ship a fully realized game. But what they were able to make is 7 to 8 hours of fun every time I play it. Thanks for doing the game. I hope you guys at least didn't hate it. We both liked it.
Yeah,
That's largely how I feel about it. Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Good stuff.
yeah. And your thoughts about this being a B+, rather than an A? Yeah, I think the way that I described it was I wish I could give this like the shiniest possible B instead of a B+.
Yeah.
It's just and to go back to any number of times where we talked about like the need for a middle for a middle lane in games.
Very much so.
Yeah. And now to Darkest Dungeon, which got a lot of responses as our premium episode for this month. Random Sum writes in via contact saying, I thought I was done with RPGs. With new RPGs, where a line of heroes punches and stabs a line of monsters. Darkest Dungeon found a fantastic solution with how it integrates position and battle tactics. It makes me realize that even if a genre can seem dead for me, you never know what tweak can revive things. Then again, it took how many years between Final Fantasy Tactics and Divinity Original Sin 2?
Yeah. It takes a long time for people to solve these problems because a lot of people don't think of them as problems.
Yeah.
The little chubby guys line up next to each other and punch each other is something that people pine for.
Mm-hmm.
And Square makes, conservatively 10 retro RPGs on the iPhone a year.
Yeah.
That are just that, Yeah. So it's just the people who see it as a problem to be solved are the people who are going to push it forward, I think.
Yeah.
Sam says via contact, I'm trying to get into Darkest Dungeon unsuccessfully since it was an early access game on Steam. However, last week I decided to get it on Switch and try it as a mash buttons while watching YouTube before bed kind of game. In the last year or so, something in me has just completely broken. So instead of getting stressed by a bunch of bullshit happening to my Darkest Dungeoneers, I take entertainment value out of jamming my bad performers in a shit team and making them work without enough resources. Then either getting them killed or firing them. Happy to say I'm slowly becoming more of a Gary gamer, and this network is to blame. Yes. Welcome.
What's it mean to be a Gary gamer? I don't get it.
Huh? Well, I'm not necessarily. I think just liking games that Gary likes.
Oh, okay.
Because and liking being stressed out, maybe.
Yeah.
By consequences in games. Welcome to the Gary game.
Yeah. This did make me pick up the Switch version of This War of Mine, because you mentioning it reminded me that is exactly my kind of stress.
Yeah. I picked that up on Switch last winter and played.
Yeah, we need to cover that on this show. Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to. Like, that's a good game.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
I would say I think the Switch port of that is equally obtuse in terms of how it controls.
Yeah.
Like Darkest Dungeon gets a lot of shit for how the Switch port controls, but this War of Mine control scheme is really rough.
Yeah. It's more of a mouse and keyboard kind of game. I'm more like getting used to it on Switch just because you can play Switch games wherever.
Yeah.
You can play them on the go, by which I mean as immobile as I've ever been. Yeah.
Contraction. Yeah. Yeah. On the go with a series of neck braces on.
to fool workman's comp. Let's see. Is this, it's not Sam, it's Jimmy. Jimmy writes via content. First off, I just want to say thanks to Gary, whose Darkest Dungeon Let's Play is how I discovered this incredible game. I wanted to write in to say that I'm flabbergasted that there aren't more Darkest Dungeon-alike games out there. My personal dream would be an X-Men themed Darkest Dungeon game set in the Days of Future Past storyline. The system of abilities and attacks seems well suited to that. Also, if you aren't aware, or in case you weren't aware, just wanted to draw your attention to the Darkest Dungeon board game, which looks incredible.
Yeah, I am an early backer of that. I'm getting the huge big box for that. Very excited about it. And I would also love a Darkest Dungeon X-Men game, even though I'm very happy that Firaxis is making that X-Men Tactics deck builder.
Oh, yeah.
Not X-Men specifically, Midnight Sun, so Marvel and some X-Men. And Insomniac is making a Wolverine game. Fucking bestow my heart.
Yeah.
Like the Spider-Man team doing a Wolverine, like going around sniffing out shit.
And I mean, and them saying like, yeah, we're not going to try to make this family friendly. Like we're going to make this Wolverine story.
Jesus Christ. I am so excited for it. Like I love those games. Like I don't think anything goes down smoother for me
than the Insomniac Spider-Man or...
Yeah. Okay. Like, and then did Miles Morales, and it was like one of the easiest chugs I've ever done in games, like just pure joy.
Yeah.
So them taking a character that I care about more, very exciting for me in terms of AAA nonsense.
Yeah. Both of those. I saw the Midnight Sun for Axis thing, and like people were groaning like, oh, nothing is safe for Marvel, etc. And
shut up. Let me have this.
Yeah, no. I saw that and I was like, I can understand the sentiment, but I know at least one person who is extremely happy.
What do you mean nothing is safe from it? Like there's like 4 XCOM games with expansions and stuff. This is the only time they've done a non-XCOM variant of it. You know?
Yeah.
These are the same thing people were talking about, how the MCU isn't horny enough, and I was like, it's because it's for me. Let me have this. Can there be one fucking universe in which the characters don't constantly want to fuck? Like, and it's for me.
Yeah.
Let me have this.
Let me have this, please. Yeah.
Yeah. I know that no one's taking anything away from me,
right,
by complaining about the MCU. I just I'm very I'll cry all the way to the bank. I'm getting my X-Men Tactics game, and I get non-horny movies about superheroes. So
there you go.
I'll take. Lepers say via contact from the offices of Leper and Associates. We understand that Mr. Ross and Mr. Butterfield had less than kind things to say about the leper in the Darkest Dungeon episode. We understand that you live in the real world where people can have different opinions about a game, but the group of gamer Americans we represent will not abide the slanderous statements made about the leper. The abomination is like the leper, absurd and legally actionable on the court of the internet. Our clients have a case and are willing to prosecute it over these minor differences of opinion. Although we have the option to sue for all the money, our clients will generously settle for a continued stream of adorable cat pictures posted to your Twitters forthwith. OOC, out of character, seriously a big fan of the show, and Gary's live stream of the game despite its low use of quad lepers. Thanks, Ian.
Yeah.
Quad lepers can't do anything. Half your party can't, like, I know people have done it, but they can't do anything from the back, really.
Hey, but guess what? Somebody shuffles. They get shuffled. No matter what, you always have a leper in the front row, ready to do their thing.
That is true.
Yeah,
that is true. You always got a leper in the if the front 2 lepers can carry it. You know?
Oh man, and I guess what I'm saying is quadruples is safest. So, yeah, I thought that was very fun. Thank you, Ian. Jack writes. Jack is the person who executive produced that episode. Coming back to this game in 2020 with fresher eyes for crunchy systems, the multi-tiered management simulator that is Darkest Dungeon felt very different to me than it did in 2016. It was still easy to stumble, but also easier to make progress and understand how that progress could contribute to future weekly runs. Combat as a puzzle with some RNG was easier to swallow. Stress and illness management became a humming engine. Character loss became a much more minor obstacle. I think Darkest Dungeon far more sharply reveals to people who play it what works in RPGs, management sims, and roguelites/roguelikes writ large than almost any other game, whether they love or hate this gameplay loop. This is truly an achievement to me. I am sure this will be plugged into the episode, but Gary's YouTube playthrough is spectacular and really reveals so much of the crunchy underbelly's relative grokkability to those who might not grasp it at first. Thanks, gentlemen. And then he includes something off air here saying, Cole, I will do my best to counterbalance this Gary nip in 2022.
Over my dead body.
Okay, cool.
Jack, have you not learned about the good news about Gary gamers and how you can slowly become one?
They're taking the world by storm.
I will infect you all with my malignant narcissism.
Yeah, that's my favorite flavor of criticism that we get, where I, a 33-year-old man, am the innocent youth who is being like just somehow swayed by the influence of Gary.
People are so condescending to you about that shit. It drives me. I don't know how you don't become the Joker like every day. Like oh, poor baby Cole. It's like oh, Cole can't stand up for himself. Jesus Christ. Like, he's just a human man, right?
Yeah.
Like
yeah it's just it's really, I mean, it used to bother me more, but it's like, wow, that is really funny that you think that.
It's real wild because it is a way to insult both of us at the same time while trying not to, and some splash damage in there.
Oh God.
Thanks everybody for the kind words about the YouTube thing. It's the last YouTube thing I did. Video content and me don't always get along, but I did really love that. And the first half of it is running through the game, so I explain all the stuff. Second half of it is me exploring mods and checking out new characters, and that is really fun stuff because there's a lot of really creative shit out there. So I recommend that YouTube playthrough to people.
Yeah, it's just on the Duckfeed YouTube channel.
Yeah, and I might do one for Darkest Dungeon 2. I might do one for the Black Reliquary, the mod for it. I haven't decided yet.
Just depends.
So, Graham says via contact, hey guys, I am so excited you're finally covering Darkest Dungeon, a game that seems so up the Waff alley that I've scrolled through your old episodes on my podcaster more than once to make sure you hadn't covered it earlier. Darkest Dungeon is probably my favorite game that I've never beaten. I love the visuals, the music, the storytelling, and even the combat for the most part. But due to the punishing difficulty, I've never been able to get through the final dungeon. There used to be an extremely optimal strategy of leaving 2 enemies alive and then stunning them while you heal and lower your party's stress. At the time, enemy reinforcements would arrive if you only left a single enemy, but as long as there were 2, you could reliably stun one every turn, outpace the other one's damage with healing. This strategy, however cheesy, was what got me to the final dungeon, but was patched out before I could finish it. I've started the game a couple more times since, but I don't tend to get very far. It's really a shame because there's so much to love about the game. Hopefully when the sequel comes out, I'll have the time and energy to complete it, or at least be quick enough to beat it before they patch out all the best exploits.
I like that. Is it just the rush to take advantage of any seams they leave in? If it's part of the game, it's part of the game.
Yeah. I love that shit.
I say about the memory leak.
You did the luck cheat in Demon's Souls remake.
Oh gosh, what was the luck cheat in Demon's Souls remake?
There's like a coin that increases your luck stat in it. And there was a glitch that it's a new item they added in the remake. And if you used it and then went to the level up screen, your luck would just scale to maximum. In the game. And then you get these sword that scales with luck and you one shot everything in the game.
Nice.
Yeah.
Huh.
And they patched it out, which bums me out because I don't know, if somebody wants to go through that work, let them.
Yeah. Just honor it. And have it affect their matchmaking if you're worried about that, but also you kind of shouldn't be worried about that.
Yeah, agreed.
And finally here, Tom writes in via contact saying, Darkest Dungeon is one of my favorite games and also least favorite, and both are because of the early access period. The game, even in its early stages, had a thriving mod community. The folks there were adding new features like difficulty sliders and rebalances. The thing is, every time Red Hook updated the game, it would get unstable. My end result was that I had to wait up for any modders to update. Then we got new mechanics like heart attacks, the corpses, and protected status. How quickly the tide turns. To say that destroyed a lot of the early access player base was an understatement. Whole strategies and playstyles had to be abandoned, and the save files with them. I know that I just stopped updating the game after that update because the way I played was no longer viable. I didn't want to have to restart my whole run, but the thing is, Red Hook's will was tested, and they became stalwart. They redeemed themselves by adding what the game needed, options. We could finally adjust the difficulty, turn some mechanics off, and be able to play the game the way that we wanted. They even added a support function for mods so that we could implement changes in an easier fashion. Whenever someone tries to get on their high horse about how Dark Souls or whatever is supposed to be hard and shouldn't have an easy mode, I just think about my love-hate-love relationship with Darkest Dungeon. And then I don't respond to the comment because no one wants to have that argument again on Twitter. You want the curated style the devs intended? Good. Click that checkbox. I'm over here in the No Corpses Baby Zone having a great time saying ancestor quotes. Couldn't agree with you more. Yeah. Options, baby.
You'll never get an argument against options from us.
Nope.
Let me play the game the way I would like to play the game, please. We're recording about Echo next week, which I beat yesterday or the day before yesterday. And I was thinking about how much, I don't think I would have appreciably got less out of it if I just toggled on like a infinite energy thing.
Yeah.
Like everything I got out of that game was world building and like some art decisions and shit that were really cool. Like the play, I was hitting the I get it button pretty quick.
Yeah.
With that, I would have loved to have just been able to like flick a little thing.
Yeah.
It just wasn't an option.
Nope.
So.
I love when developers listen. I've regrettably not played Pathologic 2 yet, but like one of the most heartening things was they released that game and it was what you would expect a Pathologic 2 to be, and then enough people said like, yeah, this would be real neat, but X, Y, or Z, and instead of making a declarative decision, they made everything modular. Said here you go, craft it, make it yourself.
That's the best.
Love it.
Game devs take note. There's currently a discourse going on with Elden Ring and when invasions can happen, and I'm blissfully ignorant about it.
Oh man,
it's great. I'm not having that discussion.
Nope.
So feels good. Nope. Yeah. Let's announce. So thanks everybody for writing in. Thanks everybody for listening for 10 years, especially if you've been here the whole time. That's awesome. Next, if you have anything to say about next month's games, the deadline is October 15th, and those games are Echo, Silent Hill 1, or Resident Evil 8. Hit us up at Duckfeed.tv/contact.
Yeah. And if you have thoughts about November's games, which are, and we're going to be announcing these here for the first time, November's games are going to be Left 4 Dead 1 and 2, Stardew Valley, and StarCraft Wings of Liberty.
Yeah. We're both getting a vanity pick in that month.
Yes, we are.
Even though the Cole Nip that came through was also a patron pick.
Yes.
There. When we obliquely said there'd be a table turning on Darkest Dungeon, it's Stardew Valley.
Oh yeah, baby.
Yep.
Diametrically opposed in almost every way, but still a very good game that I am super excited to talk about.
They both feature management.
They do. Yeah.
Yeah. You're managing things in both of them.
Yeah.
I'm very excited. We're going to do some kind of thing for Left 4 Dead 1 and 2.
Even if that's just kind of like rehabbing the Steam WAF community, that might be the best way to do it.
Yeah, and we're just gonna we're gonna have to play it multiplayer a bunch, and we'll have times around there. We'll have a little server so people can play. We're not going to organize anything huge. It's beyond the scope of this, and it's already kind of a spicy month. And then Winter RPG is super spicy.
Yes,
a little trailer there, but we want to do something with that. I was on an episode of Retronauts talking about Left 4 Dead as well. We have different approaches. I think it'll be fine. But shout out to that. And that episode was supposed to come out when Back 4 Blood was coming out, but then Back 4 Blood got delayed.
It did.
So our episode's a little bit closer to it.
Yeah. Take that.
So I'm excited about all this stuff. This is great.
Yeah. So watch for announcements for how we're going to handle the Left 4 Dead 2 kind of thing. There'll be like a landing page for that we'll put out there.
And then because a lot of people ask, do you have plans to do the rest of StarCraft? Yeah. We'll do parts 2 and 3.
Yeah.
Either next year or the year after. Also, we in no way endorse or support Activision Blizzard.
Yeah.
We did Singularity, which is also Activision related. We know those guys are monsters, and it's super shitty. Activision specifically, but Blizzard as well, is kind of like very big for us to blanket boycott at this point. And I'm not buying anything for this. Like I already owned StarCraft, and I assume you already did as well.
Yes.
We're not necessarily, we are not encouraging you to support them. We just want to talk about the piece of art, not free of the politics around it. Like we'll talk about it, and it's, rest assured, I am nauseated.
Yeah.
So it's disgusting.
I am hooting and hollering that the SEC is getting involved and subpoenaing Bobby Kotick, that Trump donating monster. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolute piece of shit. And I hope bad things happen to him.
Yeah. Lose everything.
I also love StarCraft 2.
Yeah.
It is the modern, the contradiction of modern life.
Yeah.
So,
the response deadline for all of those will be November the 15th at duckfeed.tv/contact. As always, if you have thoughts about multiple games, please separate them into multiple responses. That makes things easier for us.
Yeah, we would really appreciate it. Until next time, you've already done so much for us. Yeah. So just a big thank you.
Yeah. Please enjoy yourself, especially if you're living in an area where fall is coming in. Hell yeah, fall.
Yeah. Be safe. I'm going to go to an apple orchard.
Oh, dang.
This weekend.
Nice.
I'm very excited about that.
Yeah.
And if you're, if you haven't yet, get vaccinated.
Yeah. Get your flu shot too. I'm going to be getting my flu shot here soon.
Yeah. Please do.
Yeah.
Just generally take care of yourself and be safe.
Yeah. So we can see you next time.
Yeah. And take care.
Take care. Bye.